they say that you need to just love yourself enough to where, none of it matters and all that. But it doesn't work that way in these situations. You have to be validated by somebody, a therapist, a community, a podcast. Our course validates you to where you're like, oh, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. My instincts are on point. It's hard for you to just trust your instincts when you're not being validated by somebody, even if like on the outside. You're not going to get it from your partner or your spouse.
Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I am Matt.
I'm Paige.
We've got an awesome episode in store today. This is a continuation of our last listener Q&A. Actually, a community-driven Q&A. Thank you, Tufo community.
Yes.
In this episode, you're going to, I think, learn a few things. Something you can expect is how to learn how to trust your instincts and yourself again. How to develop the confidence in yourself to act on your decisions for the first time in a very long time. Another thing we're going to discuss is how much should you be involved in the decisions around treatment programs, IOP, AA, 12-step or not, PHPs, all the different things that someone's going to do, and how much are you going to be involved in this? When the proper time is to start discussing issues within the relationship versus just recovery issues. What do you do when friends and family start to pull away from you, and how do you handle that? And can a problem drinker ever become a normal drinker again?
These could all be separate topics on podcast.
We are going to rapid fire these today.
Yes.
Fun episode ahead of us. But first, hey, we got a workshop coming up in just, I think, 2 short weeks. June 8th, and there's still time to get in if you have not booked it yet.
Yes, we still have some space available.
It is going to be held in McKinney, Texas. Details are on our website, www.tufo.com.
TWFO.
It is a full day of learning, processing,
Connecting,
validating all the things that you thought you were crazy for. Turns out you are not, and we are going to make sure that you know that before you leave.
And our super cute pens just came in.
Yeah, we got some pens. That's right. Those are cool.
We're giving y'all pens that have our little logo on it.
For the first time, we're getting like stuff like that. Like, what would you call that? Company merch, sort of like company garb. It's really cool to have around. It's just neat. It's like, oh, look at it. It's like real.
Trinkets.
We'll go with that. I like it. The following day on June 9th in McKinney at Finch Park at the East Pavilion, 9 a.m. I think it's 9 a.m.
9:30,
right?
I believe.
9:30. We'll go 9:30.
I don't know. I'll post it up.
We're going to have a free meetup. If you're in the DFW area or if you've flown in for the workshop and you've got time that morning, nothing to do, come and hang out with us. It's completely free. We're going to have coffee, donuts, and just good conversations. What do you mean maybe on the donuts? I'm having donuts, y'all. There will be donuts there, I promise. I don't know where this is coming from. We're going to have donuts. We're going to have coffee. We're going to have a good time.
Pigs in a blanket?
We'll have...
donut holes?
We will also have limited sitting, someone watching the kids.
Yeah. I mean, it's an open area so the kids can play around, but our kids will be there to somewhat supervise.
Yeah, they're responsible.
If there's some heavy conversations going on.
They're responsible. We can keep the kids away. We can keep them entertained, keep them busy.
It's going to be super chill, super casual. It's just a nice time to get together face to face and just have some nice conversations.
Y'all just come hang out.
Or even just
it's going to be fun.
Hug, whatever.
Just come say hi. Just come hang out. We would love to meet you.
And there is no like end time. We'll keep it, before it gets really hot to where we're going to feel like we're dying and sweating.
Yeah, keep an eye on our social media stories in the community that morning. We'll probably let you know how things are going, when things will end. Sort of like live updates, if you will.
Sure.
If you're going to be, I don't know, leaving church or something like that, whatever. We'll keep you in the loop on it.
Yep.
Hey, we've still got a course out there. If you're not able to make it and you still want some of the same tools that people are going to learn live, we have a course, Independently Strong. It is the first of its kind that we're aware of anyway, that's designed for the journey of a spouse and partner, I should say.
Yeah.
It is going to validate you. It's going to educate you. It is going to empower you to begin to trust your instincts again, to make decisions that are right for you. That doesn't just mean leaving a relationship. That can mean you want to stay, but you want to know right from wrong. You want to know what healthy boundaries look like. You want to know how to navigate this. You want to know what's real about addiction, what's not. There's just so much information out there. The course is going to teach you all those things.
Yeah, how to stand up for yourself in a healthy way too,
And for a limited
good
time,
stuff.
it is available 75% off using the code Wheelies75. That's Wheelies with an S, 75. Next thing, we have a community. If you're not aware, if you're a listener, we've got a community. It's called Tufo Community, TWFO Community. It's about 3,000 members, all listeners of the podcast, followers of the show. followers of just TikTok, Instagram, various places, people that have heard our message and want to join together and talk. Anything goes. I guess within reason.
Well,
but
kind of.
For the most part, anything goes, right?
Yeah.
We've had
we hop in occasionally.
Yeah, we'll pop in. If we've got time, we'll pop in. We'll answer questions. We'll participate as well. It's not just listeners. We're in there too. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's validating. It's a safe space for you to just vent or ask questions or get feedback, hear from other people going through it. Sometimes you don't need any advice at all. You just need to get it out in the world. You just need to write it. And that's very cathartic. It's like processing. It's like a journal, right?
You can put things out there that you don't feel comfortable saying out loud to a lot of people. And then you put it out there and you'll realize there's a lot of people who feel the same way you do. And it's been kind of therapeutic for me because there are people coming in there that will say things that I felt early in either your addiction or even in early recovery. And they're saying things where I'm like, whoa. So I wasn't alone then. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice for me too, to see that and witness that and say, wow, my feelings were not totally off in there. So
there's power in community, y'all.
Yeah,
there's power in
there
community.
is.
And as we'll get to later in this episode, very few people understand what it's like. We do. Wheelies do. That's what we're here for. Join the community if you haven't already. It's completely free. Costs you nothing to join. You can post anonymously. You can't reply anonymously, which is kind of a dumb Facebook feature, but that's not me. Blame Zuckerberg.
I love seeing the growth of people that have been there for a year.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Even for a couple of months, the people who've been there, and I've seen them post, consistently, and the things that they've learned and what they're showing and what they're doing. It's like, whoa, my gosh, you are trusting your instincts again, and that's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so cool watching people you can see the progression. It's like, man, they're starting to really tie this stuff together and figure it out.
Yes.
And
powerful.
Become
Powerful
empowered,
stuff.
become confident again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing to see.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing, hey, we've got these rocks, these recovery rocks. 12-step groups generally give a token of some kind, whether it be a keychain or a coin, to denote varying lengths of sobriety. When I was going through, I worked a 12-step personally, and I was given these little tokens, and I'd come home, and Paige is always proud of them. But at the same time, there was an emptiness inside her because she's like, I went through this too. I feel like I'm not acknowledged.
I had the first row seat to witness it and be impacted by it.
Yeah.
So that outsiders would always say, "Oh man, I'm so proud of you. It's so awesome." Which I was always proud of you too. Of course, it doesn't dismiss that. However, I was there to see it and be a part of it, and I was still on the back burner, and that kind of sucked.
Yeah. So with the help of a listener, we're trying to lessen the blow to that and try to give something for spouses to at least feel acknowledged through this. Mm-hmm. So it's a rock. It's got our logo on the front. On the back side, it says, "Thank you for being my rock." It's a really cool way to acknowledge your spouse's role in your recovery, the sacrifices made, the BS that we put them through, dragging them through the mud, the uncertainty, the fear, the anxiety, the loss of self, all of this, guys, all of this. That's a long road to recovery, and the rock's not going to fix all those things, but it's a nice token to show someone, thank you. Hey, I'm 3 months sober today. Couldn't have done it without you as well. And give them a rock. They're available on the website. It's pretty cool. I like them. We've actually shipped many of those now. It's pretty cool.
Do you want to talk about really quickly? Are you done with all of the openings?
I think so.
Okay. We didn't talk about this beforehand, so I'm kind of throwing this at you.
Oh, let's go.
Okay. So
improv.
This weekend, do you want to discuss what happened a couple of nights ago?
Oh, with the storms?
Yeah.
I think it's better coming from you, but...
Okay, well, I posted about it on our Instagram and in our community. There was I think it was a couple of nights ago, and the kids and I were asleep. Matt's a night owl, thank goodness. And I was sleeping, and he ended up patting me, and he's like, Paige, wake up. There's a storm coming. And I'm like, okay.
Springtime in Texas. Okay.
Okay. But as I looked at the radar, I saw this massive hook. And if I love weather, the whole meteorology thing was a big thing for me back in the day. I kind of you took over for me.
I'm old manning right now.
You have old man a big time in the past, I don't know, year. So there was this really big hook on there, and I'm like, oh, that's serious. And this was probably about, I don't know, 45 minutes away. How far away do you think it was? The storm at that point.
45 minutes to an hour, probably.
Okay. So, and there were no other storms around us, but they were like, this is a massive tornado. If you were in your home, you need to seek shelter, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. And Matt's like, all right, we're going to get up, we're going to go, and we're going to get in the car and we're going to drive south. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Let's do this. So we ended up waking up the kids, getting in the car and driving south to safety. No, the tornado was not near us yet, for anybody who's thinking, why do you get in a car when there's a tornado?
And it was a supercell. It was the only storm in this state.
Yeah. It was the only storm in the state. And it was wild. Like, this storm went 100 miles. There was so much damage. There was a lot of lives that were lost. But as we were sitting in the parking lot, we stayed there for like an hour and a half, I think.
Watching the radar.
Because it was going really slowly. I was thinking to myself, like, it brought back times when Matt was in active addiction. And I was thinking, you know what? Had he been in active addiction during this time, I don't know what would have happened. He would have been either indecisive, or he would have minimized it. He would have just like slept through it. Maybe we wouldn't have known what was going on. And I felt like during that time, I did not have a safe person at all. You know, we marry somebody who we want to be a partner, to provide a safe space for us. And I was really grateful in that moment, because I was like, wow, like, he actually took control. He saved his family. Like, you protected us. You were there for us. And I just want to thank you for that. I think that's a big deal, because I've been on both sides of it. I've been on the side of like, there's no way you would have done that for us. You know, now here's the thing too, though. I'm pretty self-sufficient. I could have taken care of myself. I could have made, these decisions myself. So if you are a wheelie that is in a position like this, you have the power to do it yourself. Like, don't dismiss that either. But I'm just grateful these days that you are in a position to where you see reality and you're able to be there for us.
I'm just grateful that I can return the favor at this point in our lives, in our relationship, that I'm able to be an equal partner and be there for you like you were there for us. And you were there for me when I was essentially useless.
Not useless.
But just not present, not doing things like that, not being responsible, not thinking things through. Yeah, I was just, it's just, it's what a marriage should be, right?
Yeah, that's what a healthy interdependent relationship is. We can depend on our partners for some things.
Yeah. And the tornado ended up touching down just north of us, like just, 5 or 6 miles.
Yeah.
We got really close.
Yeah,
but
it did.
Looking at the radar, I was like, I'm not going to risk this. Let's just get out of here. We can drive to your mom's town and we'll be okay.
Right.
And if the house gets blown up, fine, whatever. We got the dog and the kids.
Yeah, we can deal with that.
Fine.
Yeah, we took the dog, except Sheldon. I didn't grab my turtle.
Forgot the turtle.
I was like, oh no, my turtle was not going to make it if the tornado hit, but it's okay.
I don't know. He's got a shell, man. He might just go inside that shell.
Oh, that's possible.
He'd be all right.
You could protect him.
You never know.
Yeah. But I know that story might be hard to hear for some people, and I didn't put it out there for that reason. It was more of like, I've been on both sides, and you're not alone if you have a partner who's not there for you.
But
you do have the power to take care of yourself. And
I think as much as it's hard to hear, I think it's also important, because we never want to sit up here and gloat like, oh, look how wonderful we are.
That's not what
I've never considered myself like a great person. I've never considered myself like, oh, look at me, like, just be like me. I'm an example. And I hate if I give that impression off. That's certainly what I'm not trying to do. But what I think we do have is a healthy marriage where we have shared responsibilities and whatnot. If we aren't able to inspire someone to make decisions that are right for them and begin to gain confidence in themselves again, or inspire someone to recover, I hope that we're able to give people a perspective of what is and what isn't.
Right.
To say, oh, that's what I would love to have, and this is what I don't have. And you have to create that pain in the beginning before people will get serious about making difference.
Yeah.
Making decisions to change things. I think that you have to do that. Like, you can't normalize the crap that's going on that you're unhappy with. It's making you unhappy, and it will get worse most likely.
Yeah.
So I think it is important to just say it, because, hey, like, I think everyone deserves to have someone like that in their life.
Right.
Everyone does.
Right.
So if you don't, okay, let's talk.
Reevaluate. Yeah.
Reevaluate. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on that?
No, that's it.
All right. So we're going to get into the questions. Thank you for letting me derail a little bit.
For sure. What would it be without a derailment?
All right. So the first question is going to be, how do you relearn how to trust your instincts and yourself? And how do you put the steps in place to develop the confidence in yourself to act on those decisions for yourself, both when working on a relationship, but also when leaving it? So as you all know, a lot of us tend to lose trust in our instincts in these relationships because there's a lot of betrayal. There's a lot of gaslighting. There's, unfortunately, there's a lot of abuse that goes along to where the lies will affect your self-esteem. They will affect your way to make decisions, like your ability to make decisions and to actually trust in yourself, because, you married someone that you thought you trusted and you want to be able to trust your gut with them. But they're sitting there spinning it and like changing your reality all the time. I mean, Matt, we talked about this in a podcast one time about how you went out of your way to change my reality.
Yeah, I had to keep my lie going.
To keep your lie.
Yeah,
and it's funny because people will say, well, you're allowing the gaslighting to happen if you recognize it. Y'all, you're really good at what you do. Like the gaslighting and the shifting of reality is real. Like I didn't know. I thought he was being honest at some point too. I didn't know that you were fully lying.
Yeah, a good liar may not completely change your mind or change your reality, but what they will do is they will plant the seed of doubt. Mm-hmm. And if you do that enough times, you start to wonder, well, am I crazy?
Yeah.
Maybe he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
You want to give people the benefit of the doubt. And like we've talked about the damage of lying, like how detrimental that is. Like we talked to our kids about it. Our kids are at the age where they've figured out, hey, if I just tell them something that didn't actually happen, I won't get in trouble. And so you have to walk kids through that. Lying comes natural to people, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does.
When people start to experience consequences, it's like, well, I get in trouble for that. I'm just going to not be honest about it. Mm-hmm. Like we learn this at a very young age, and I think it's natural in many ways.
Yes.
But it will plant the seed of doubt. And you plant the seed of doubt. What it does is it starts to make you distrust yourself. So it's not just something simple like, hey, who ate the last of the M&Ms? It's pretty obvious, like you can figure that out. And as a parent, even when your kid tells you I didn't, you stop and think for a minute, did I eat them? Did Paige eat them?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're lying to me.
Right.
You definitely ate these. And you have to kind of make your decision. But when someone sticks with it and they tell you like, no, I didn't, I swear I didn't, and they start getting emotional and crying about it, you question yourself. Mm-hmm. And you start to feel like a horrible person for bringing it up.
Asking. Yeah.
If you do that enough times, mm-hmm. you will start to lose credibility with your inner voice and with your instincts and the things that you believe to be true. That's what happens over time. That's why lying is so damaging in a relationship.
Yes.
And honest people do not approach situations thinking they're being lied to. So they're taking things at face value. Like when I was talking to you about this, like I feel like the inability to lie.
Yeah.
Which is odd. It's strange. And like, it's a phenomenon. I'm not sure how to even explain it, but like honesty is a core value of mine.
Yeah.
I value honesty so much. And like, I will give bad news. I will tell you things that like you don't want to hear sometimes, but I'm being honest. I'm just going to tell you like, this is what happened, because I cannot fathom lying and like that weight that comes with it anymore. Like my favorite thing about recovery was walking around without any secrets, mm-hmm. and just knowing I could look at the world in the face and I had no secrets. I was just myself. I was authentically me. And that was the most freeing thing in the world. And I can never imagine going back to that. Mm-hmm. When you're lying though, like it, for me anyway, when I'm approaching situations now, and I've been lied to in recovery by people many times, I always feel like an idiot after the fact. I'm like, how could I not have seen that? Like that was so obvious. And you start to question your ability to tell when others are lying. And it's like, I don't know if I even trust myself, like picking up on people's cues anymore.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't lie. I don't expect to be lied to.
Yeah.
But I think it sucks. But I think to some degree you have to assume people are being dishonest. Mm-hmm. And this is almost like something you have to learn and teach yourself, is when to identify that. And oftentimes but you think twice and you can convince yourself that they're being honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. So like back to the question, I derailed this again.
No, it's good.
How do you begin to develop the confidence again? You have to start to logic and reason through these things. Mm-hmm. Okay. I found a bunch of bottles of alcohol that are empty. You tell me that they're a week old, or they're, those are months old.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Just assume it's bullshit.
Right.
What does the past tell you? What does the pattern say? What does the pattern say? The pattern says this is a lie. just stick with that. You can be brokenhearted about it. You don't even have to prove yourself right. Like there's no sense in doing that really, right? It's not like a child where you're trying to correct behaviors that are going to make them successful. And like you're talking about a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
Like what's the point? Like, you know that they're lying, right? But it does help to be able to check this stuff with other people, which is why I think why the community is important.
Yep.
It's why a podcast like this is important. They're lying to you.
Yes.
They are most definitely lying to you.
Yeah, validation is important. And we've discussed this in one of my, I think the How I Built My Self-Esteem Up episode. I think that's the one where we talked about how they say that you need to just love yourself enough to where, none of it matters and all that. But it doesn't work that way in these situations. You have to be validated by somebody, a therapist, a community, a podcast. Our course validates you to where you're like, oh, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. My instincts are on point. It's hard for you to just trust your instincts when you're not being validated by somebody, even if like on the outside. You're not going to get it from your partner or your spouse. You're not going to get it from them. I mean, they might a little bit dabble here and there just to kind of keep you in it, but most of it, you're going to have to get it from somebody else. And then once you get that validation, you're able to breathe a little bit more. And then you take the next step and you start educating yourself on everything. And you're like, okay, you educate yourself on what manipulation looks like. You educate yourself
what abuse looks like,
what your reality is. When you're able to look at your reality, you're going to be able to trust your instincts more because you're like, okay, my instincts have been telling me these things and they're not wrong. They haven't been wrong. They've just been steering you the wrong way because you've been listening to somebody who has been lying to you.
Right. So rationalize and use logic here.
Yeah.
It's really helpful. But also, I think that you have to begin to just trust your instincts. And that starts with literally just trusting them. Like to say, I'm going on a limb here and saying that you're lying. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
End of story. You're not going to change my mind. I'm going to trust my instincts here. And I'm going to roll with that. It's going to feel icky. You're going to feel, oh my God, I could be wrong here. But imposter syndrome is something we talked about a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Like this feeling that you are not what you appear.
Yeah.
So whenever you're using like your instincts again, you will feel like an imposter. You will feel like you're not living to your true self because
you'll feel inauthentic.
You will,
because it's different.
It's different, right? In the beginning, you just have to trust.
Take the leap of faith of changing
and roll with that.
Yes.
Roll with that.
Yes.
Confidence comes through action. Mm-hmm. And let's not call it imposter syndrome. Let's just call it inexperience. You're just inexperienced in trusting those things.
Yes.
And so it starts with a little bit of inexperience. And sometimes, you might get it wrong every once in a while. It's going to be rare, especially if you're dealing with someone who's got a habitual pattern that you can identify and look at and say, all right, well, 9 times out of 10, they're doing this. Chances are they're lying mm-hmm. or they're hiding or they're doing something, right? The cost of, I think, a part of anytime you do something new, the cost there is embarrassment from time to time. Doesn't matter if you want to be a writer, right? And you just want to start writing. The cost of admission is embarrassment. I can't remember where I saw that, but it's true. Like the cost of admission is embarrassment. Like you're going to every so often make a mistake. Okay, you can make mistakes. You're human. That's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect about it.
That was that podcast guy, Steve something.
Was it?
Yeah.
Steve Bartlett?
Maybe.
Diary of a CEO?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it might have been from his IG. I saw it on IG for sure, so it's probably him. I follow him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that though. The cost of admission is embarrassment. So every so often you might get things wrong. So what? What?
Like think about this. I didn't want to do the podcast because I didn't, I wasn't ready for it.
This show almost never happened.
Yes, I didn't have that self-esteem yet, but I put myself in uncomfortable situations and pushed myself forward and practice and probably embarrassed myself a few times, but I'm okay with it because I've learned so much from it and I've built confidence while doing it. You have to become uncomfortable to start learning to trust your instincts again and to be confident.
Yeah. And pair that with like what you mentioned, Paige, which is the education component, mm-hmm. learning as much as you can about your situation and what's going on from other people's situations, about addiction in general, about abuse, about manipulation, about how to spot a liar. Like all these things are important.
It is.
They will arm you to feel a bit more confident in this.
That is why our program,
you take action.
Yeah, and that's why our program is so important and so different is because we do have the perspective from an addict to show you, to validate you. you're there to validate their feelings and saying, look, you've been right on the money all along.
Right.
You've been there. And you can say that because you were an addict and you know the games that are played in addiction.
Yeah. I think I'm a pretty fair cross representation of the average addict, right? Like when I was in active addiction. So I can go back and tell you, this is what we do. Like, these are the common tricks. I've worked with enough of them. I see it all the time. I've been around them for a decade. I was one myself. This is what's going on. This is what I see all the time. And I'm going to blow the lid off of it all. Like, I'm not going to make it confusing for you. I'm just going to tell you, this is what we do.
That's very validating.
I hope it's helpful.
Yes.
I hope it's helpful
because you're telling them things that they've known all along, but they've been told they were wrong.
I don't know why there aren't more people in recovery out here doing this.
And it's not just
honestly
focusing on you, and it's not just focusing on your side of the street. You have to educate yourself on what the person around you is doing and why they're doing what they're doing. You have to educate yourself on that stuff. You have to know how their behaviors are truly impacting you, because if you don't know that, it's going to be hard to trust your gut.
It is.
You can't just say, it's not like you can just say, oh, just trust your gut. Just trust your gut. There's so much more that goes into it, and it is a process to learn to trust your instincts again.
If you had to time frame it, what would you say?
Oh,
it's years, right?
It's years. And it's by layers. It's little baby steps. You're going to start trusting your instincts on smaller things, like maybe within your children or within your house, just your job, small things. And then you'll realize within your relationship and even bigger relationships, things that will start to unravel. And then you're like, oh man, I was right on the money there. It's going to take time though. It's a process. It takes time.
Be patient with yourself. Be gentle with yourself.
Yep.
But it's possible and you can do it.
Yep.
I promise you that.
Just keep pushing forward.
Next question.
Paige, how involved were you in the decision process of treatment, length of time in IOP to P.2, working the steps, if any? Was it guided by Matt, counselors, or family decisions? Okay, so Matt going to treatment, to 30-day treatment, I was not involved in that.
My mother helped with that,
yes,
right?
Yes. I did not have any. You just told me you needed to go somewhere and you needed to get help, and she'd been down that road before.
So kind of back to that. So ultimately, in the beginning, it was my decision to actually go.
Yeah,
it was voluntary. Like I said, I need to go to treatment.
Right. And then I was just like, okay, cool, go. Like I needed you to go. I wanted you to go. I was okay with it. And then when you were there, they had like the family programs that I was involved in. I would talk to your counselor occasionally.
We had a couple sessions together, I want to say.
We did have a few sessions. I really liked her.
She's awesome, man.
Yeah, she was very direct. But I was still, y'all, I was clueless on how any of this stuff worked, like recovery, AA, the steps, treatment. I was just along for the ride at that point. I was just like, all right, if he's got to go somewhere to get help, let's go do it. I still had a little bit of shame in the back of my head at that point, which we've discussed a lot, because I'm like, am I this person? Are we these people?
We're one of those people.
We're one of those people. Yeah. And like, how did I allow it to get to this point or whatever? But either way, I just like kind of let it go through there. So when he was in treatment, they suggested that he go to another state for treatment for 90 more days.
I think it was 60 or 90.
I think it was 3 months. I think it was a long period of time. And at first I was kind of like, oh, shocked. But then I was like, no, I want you to go. I told Matt I wanted him to go because I think that he needed to dig deep into a lot of issues, and I knew it would benefit him. He decided against it. And then what happened?
So I decided against it because we had a 9-month-old at the time, and I was resolute on doing anything other than that, basically. It's like
You felt confident.
It wasn't really confident. I trusted that if I did the things they told me to do when I got out, that I would be okay, and I didn't need the 90-day, like, further intensive. And this is just me. I felt like there's a bit of business bias when it comes to those types of things. It's like, are they just telling me this because they want another 90 days of cash? Do they really think I need this? And so I had an honest meeting with my counselor about all this stuff. And I told her, I'm resolute on doing anything. I just don't want to go away from my family for 90 days in a different state. We can't afford it. Like, they didn't accept insurance. Mm-hmm. Like, it was out of pocket.
Yeah.
It was bad. And they told me, then you need to go to 90 days of IOP. Mm-hmm.
Which is intensive outpatient.
And
right?
I didn't want to do that either. And Paige said, you are going to IOP. I said, we can't afford it. She said, I don't care. We will figure it out. You are going to IOP. And I said, yes, ma'am. And that's how that went. And I went to IOP. And as far as like working a maintenance program, like I worked a 12-step. That's just the one I did. Like, I'm not saying that that's what everyone needs to do by any means. It's just what worked for me. We never even had a discussion about that. That was self-guided. That was me.
Yeah, no, I think the only thing that I wanted you to do for sure was to make sure that you were getting as much treatment as possible, because I knew that you had a lot of shit that you needed to deal with. And the only reason I knew that is because we've been together since we were 14 years old. You know, I was around for a lot of stuff. And I was like, I need you to just, I was okay with you getting help. I was okay with it. And what's POP?
I think maybe they meant PHP. I don't know what POP frankly is. I know PHP is like partial hospitalization program.
Okay.
And there's SOPs, supportive outpatients.
So when you were in IOP, they had like the family stuff. I would come there once a week, I guess, like the first few weeks. I don't remember specifically. I just know that I went there a couple of times, which was actually, it was nice for me. I liked being
those
there.
sessions with the other spouses.
Yeah, their sessions was great. Mm-hmm. And I was actually able to discuss some things in there. I thought it was great that they involved me in y'all's group discussions, like the family members. I thought that was really cool that I was involved in that. But everything else after that, like most of it was guided by you. Like it wasn't the counselors who guided us very much. It wasn't necessarily a family decision for the maintenance program, like going to AA and stuff. It was you. I was trusting you to do what you needed to do to make sure that you were going to stay on track.
And I think that there's something in that story that is powerful, which is like, I'm convinced that anything would have worked. I worked a 12-step program, but if they'd have presented me with some alternative at the time, I think it would have worked, because I was convinced anything would work because I was effing done. I was so done. If I had anything going for me at all, it's that I was done. Like I was completely done. I didn't have another one in me. I didn't want to be that person anymore. I wanted to be a good man. I wanted to be the person I was promised you I'd be, more than I wanted my next breath. I wanted it. So anything would have worked for me, I think. I mean, I really do. I believe that wholeheartedly. I think it's the reason I say that is because even if they tell you, yeah, you need to get away 90 days, you need to go, like I've seen people who went to year-long treatments and come home and they're the same person and then right back out doing the same old things. Like you can force people to do things like that. You guys could have forced me to go to 90 days. And if I wasn't ready, what difference would it have made?
I know.
I don't know. Like I believe in like the model based on our course, which is like social learning theory, which is that your environment plays a great deal in your behaviors, your actions, your responses to stress, like you name it. Like stimulus matters, like the environment matters very much. So getting someone out of their environment is powerful, but if they're going back to the same old environment and nothing changes, what happens? We see what happens all the time.
Right.
See what happens all the time. So get someone out of their environment temporarily. They'll be sober temporarily, but what changes when they get home? And the changes started with me. It started with me. But I think that if you have boundaries around like what a recovery looks like, I don't think it's a terrible thing as a family. Like you need to go to treatment, like, and then you have to work some sort of a maintenance program. Like pick one. I don't care which one it is, but you need to be doing something, because we know what doesn't work.
Yeah.
What doesn't work is me coming home and doing the same old shit I used to do.
Right.
There was this woman named, she was awesome, man. What was her nickname? Betty Spaghetti was her name. Betty was, she was a counselor assistant. She was in recovery herself, like 12 years from meth and a few other things. And she was amazing. She would stay up with us all night long and just tell stories, just inspire the hell out of us, just like a motivational speaker. And she would say, if you keep doing what you always did, you're going to keep effing getting what you always got. And that's like, it's really simple, but there's power in that. Like something's got to change, and it starts with you. Like your family can force you to go. Like the court system can put you away for years and years and years. People are going to find a way to get what they want. I mean, and so it sucks, but you're allowed to have boundaries around what you will allow in your home and the type of actions around what are we going to do to address this problem. If you're going to be living here, if you're going to be, have access to your children, like you're a danger, like you're not safe. You're allowed to have a say in that. But in our personal situation, it was guided by me primarily, but I was listening. Don't get me wrong. I was. And I was resolute. I didn't need that 90 days. Would it have changed things? Like, I don't know. Here we are over a decade later, still good. So I don't know.
I was just afraid. I was afraid. of you coming home.
Understandably
So even though, because 30 days, people say like, oh gosh, it's a long time. And it does feel like a long time. But I knew that I felt like you needed a lot longer.
30 days isn't a long time.
It's not.
It's really not.
It's
and
really
if
not.
I'm being honest, you do need to be away for quite some time.
Right.
Like,
And
we're going to fix 10 years in 30 days.
Right. And it wasn't just like you getting away from your environment. I needed you to break cycles. I wanted you to be able to learn how to break cycles for our children and for us and for you, so I was just scared because I felt like you were so confident when you did come out of treatment, which was great and all, but I still had it in the back of my mind where I was like, oh my gosh, he's almost too confident with this, because I feel like you said, 10 years of addiction or whatnot, and 30 days is he's just gonna, be okay. No, because there were still some things that you would spit out that were recovery talk. And I'm like, no, that's not how
Doesn't
this
apply
works.
here, sir.
But I let you do your thing. I had a lot of patience, and we did that. So this question, we were kind of both involved, but it was mainly him.
All right, next one.
All right, when is the proper time to start discussing coming home and working things together as a team?
I want you to take this one and talk about patience.
So you're going to know based on their behaviors and what they're doing. And if you didn't listen to the red flags in recovery episode that we did a few weeks ago, go listen to that one. If they're not doing stuff like that, then it's going to be difficult to have a conversation together on working things together as a team. We didn't address a lot of our stuff until years later. Like I knew that Matt had to work on himself, and he had to do individual work and learn things, learn how to cope, learn how to manage, get the stuff out of his system before we could ever discuss working on us. And I had patience for that. It took a while. But you'll know, like, just pay attention to their behaviors, pay attention to what they're doing, how they're feeling, how they're interacting with you. If there is some crazy, like, your behaviors changed small, like it was all little things, but we praised each one. I looked at them as big things.
Yeah, I think that's, I always want you to bring up the patience piece, because it was so important. It was so important.
Yeah.
And I know why spouses want to have this conversation day one. Like, you have been through hell and back. Mm-hmm. You have been through traumatic things. You have been through things you never dreamed you would be part of in your marriage. I mean, you've had things said to you, you've had things done to you that are just unimaginable. And I understand the want to address those things early on. I'll almost liken this like someone who's been through decades of addiction, coming out of treatment. And if you want to start addressing things within the relationship right away, it's almost like watching your house burn. And like, while you're watching it burn, you're on your phone shopping for new furniture. Mm-hmm. It's like, let's put the house out first. Let's clean up the rubble. Let's build a new one. And then we can buy furniture. We can pick out the color of curtains and sheets that we want. We can pick our dishware, but like, we have got major problems right now, much bigger issues, because this person that is addicted is not able to meet you there. They're not going to know how to have these types of conversations. Mm. And I've tried to have these conversations with people in recovery. Anytime I ever work with someone, like, there is an intense focus on the marriage, repair. Like, we don't just brush over the amends piece. Like, I hit that day one, and I'm talking to people and I can see it in their eyes. No one's home. Like, the lights are on, but no one's home.
Yeah. They're
hearing me and they're nodding, and like, they cognitively understand what I'm saying, but like, they cannot, like, they haven't met themselves there yet. They cannot imagine what that even looks like.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling you, like, I've tried it myself. You just can't get through to someone who's there, not right there. Not fresh out. It takes some time. But Paige, you mentioned something. When I was really, really focused on healing, I was learning things about myself. I was learning how to be honest. Like, that was probably the first thing, like honesty. I was learning how to be honest. So when we're having honest conversations and you're hearing me be honest, it was almost like it fed you enough to hold you over for quite some time.
Right.
To the point where you didn't feel like you needed to address massive, major underlying issues, like, right off the bat.
Right.
Like, we didn't need to talk about this event or that event. It was like, and it wasn't like we were avoiding them either. You were like wow, like that's huge. Like you're being
That's a big
honest.
deal.
Like we're having honest conversations. Like, okay, I like where things are trending. Let's see where this goes. And then I would start to show integrity, right? Integrity. I would start to do the right thing when nobody was watching me. That was another one. It was like, okay, so now I think he's really figuring this out. And that alone was fixing some of the wounds I think you had. Am I
Absolutely
wrong to say that?
No, that's right. That's right. It came out in layers, and I was grateful for all this, like I said, small things that you were doing that you needed, that a partner should be doing anyway, right? But it wasn't our norm. That wasn't our normal. That wasn't something that you did in active addiction. So when you started doing those things, even though they were small, like it's something you should be doing, I was grateful for them, because I was like, wow, he's actually putting in the work. He's actually showing that he's serious about this. And I took that. I was grateful for that.
Yeah, like I took some notes here. Like another one, it's like, imagine your fourth grader coming home. It's like, hey, mom, I just learned multiplication today. You're like, great. Now it's time to do algebra. Like, wait, I just learned multiplication today. Like, I'm not ready for algebra yet. Like, you're just not ready. Like, you need to understand that concept for quite some time before you can then build on it.
Yes.
So for an addict, for me personally, I had to learn like what real honesty was, and like how, like truly empathizing with the feelings of other people. Like I had to really understand that, like the way that I'd harmed you before I could really, like, I wouldn't have done it justice if we had forced the conversation early on, I don't think.
No, because you wouldn't have been able to comprehend it. Like you said, when you talk to people, they're not even able to comprehend it. You wouldn't have been able to. But even then, we didn't even know. We've talked about this as well. We didn't know a lot of the damage that had been done. But I know a lot of wheelies do know.
Yeah.
And they are there, but and they're ready to talk about it. But this is where the patients had to come in.
Imagine that you were raised feral in the woods, okay? That you were raised in like primitive shelters made by like limbs and mud packed in, and you had a fire to keep yourself warm. You had to hunt for your food. One day, someone gives you a shelter, like a bona fide house. You're like, oh, okay, like this is great. Like, this is wonderful. I can do this.
Right. And you may not have running water.
Right.
You may not have electricity.
Right.
You may not have all the other things that we need to live right now. But you're so grateful for that house, that structure, that you're able to push forward.
Yeah. And I don't want people to take that wrong and say, like, you should just be grateful.
No.
I want you to aspire to have everything.
Yes.
Everyone in this situation should aspire to have all the things, but you're just not going to get them all on day one, day two, even year one necessarily. So you have to have patience for them. So when you get the house, when you see that first behavior, like just being honest, like know that eventually you're going to have running water in that new house. You're going to have electricity. You're going to have DoorDash. Like you're going to have luxuries you never dreamed you would have. And each time one of them shows up, it will feed your soul to the point where you don't feel like you really need to address this stuff right off the bat. But let's just talk about the reality here is a lot of people aren't addressing these things. Yeah. They're just not. Like they're not coming home and they're not being honest.
Right.
They're coming home not being honest.
Yes,
they're
still
the
not
same
rebuilding
old
the
person.
trust.
Right.
They're still going to blame you. They still, get defensive whenever you call them out, and instead of saying, oh, I understand why you don't trust me right now. I betrayed you for years and I'm working on it. So let's work through it. That's huge, but that's not necessarily happening in these relationships, even when somebody's in early recovery.
Yeah.
So those are the red flags.
Yeah. We talked about those, the red flags. So a lot of times, more often than not, I would say the majority of people want to have these conversations with someone that, guys, there's just not really much of a point. Yeah. There's just not. Now, it could be powerful for you to say these things. It
Absolutely.
could like an impact letter or an impact discussion where you can talk about the way that they've harmed you, but your expectations
let
around
go of the outcome.
What changes. Yeah.
It's about you. It's not about them. It's about how you feel and how you've been harmed. And it's not about changing and wanting them to change, because the reality is you don't have that power. It's really just for you to get it off your chest, to let somebody know how you feel.
Yeah. Like you can drag someone who's unwilling to go to marriage counseling, and the outcome is not good.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be good. But you're doing all the right things. You're in marriage counseling. You're hearing all these discussions, but without the willingness and the, I wrote down some of the characteristics of, I think that makes a good couple, like in marriage counseling. We're not counselors, by the way, but this is just my best friend's a therapist. So we talk about this kind of stuff, but it's willingness to invest time and effort in the relationship, communication skills like honesty, active listening, articulating desires and needs, the ability to self-reflect, to be flexible, and to regulate emotions. That might be the biggest one, the ability to regulate emotions. When you tell me something I've done and I don't escalate this to a full-blown fight, I just let you speak. I validate your emotions. I let you know that that's okay. I understand. I would feel the same way if I were you. I completely get that. Without some of these things that if someone's really working recovery, like they're honest, then they want to do this thing and they are actively doing it, you will get this as a result. And you will know when it's time to start having these bigger conversations. You will know when your fourth grader is now an eighth grader ready for algebra. You'll know because you'll start to have those types of conversations.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, if people can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. You can have the conversation, just like you said, remove any expectations on the outcome for that.
Yeah.
But I think that recovery is a team effort in many ways. We worked a collaborative recovery. You were involved in my recovery and I was involved in yours. I don't think that it would have worked otherwise. Like I know that people without families, without spouses get sober and they're able to do it. But I think that I had a massive benefit in having a very patient partner along the way. And I would not have been able to do it without the patience that you offered me just graciously. I didn't deserve it. That was grace. I was given something that I did not earn, did not deserve, but you gave it to me. But I think that was a key ingredient. Now, how much patience is too much? Like if I would have come home and just sat on ass and, or maybe done some things,
this is what I was going to say is that I have a lot of patience, but I have low tolerance.
Oh, that's great.
And
I like
that's very difficult. And it kind of sounds contradicting.
Two thoughts at once.
But it is two thoughts at once because I have a lot of patience for you, but I also challenged you. There are a lot of things that I didn't tolerate. There were still things like that I mean, I would have patience for some things. And then there were things that I can't really think off the top of my head, like what I specifically didn't tolerate, but it's something that is in my character. Like that's just who I am. I'll have patience for you, but I'm not going to tolerate certain things. And I think that you feed off of that too, though, because I do challenge you and you take it as like, ooh, challenge, let's go. She's not going to tolerate this. So let's figure that out.
Yeah. I think that I'm pretty teachable. I'm pretty coachable. When it comes to like I listen to people. I do. I listen to other people. If someone's speaking to me and like they're willing to challenge me, I'm listening. I'm always going to listen.
Yeah.
And most of the time I take their advice. Like if I have any truth in my life, it's that like my best ideas got me in the biggest trouble. They really did. Like, and so I check everything. Every intention, every thought is checked in some way. And in some ways, it's almost like you've just now, like, I've always said, like, you can't afford the rent in my head.
Yeah.
Paige can afford the rent in my head. And she has a penthouse in it. And she sits up there and feeds me. She gives me feedback. It's almost like a schizophrenic voice in my head that is like the voice of reason a lot. That's your voice. And
that's hilarious.
But you have to want to be able to do that. Like, you have to be coachable and teachable enough to do that, But like, to what degree are you involved in like, hey, you're home from treatment. You've been sober now for 60 days. We've talked about like the benefits of just sobriety alone and how I personally don't think that there's a whole lot of value to that. I think that if you're really going to rebuild a marriage, you have to really get to the bottom of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. You've got to change your behaviors and really like learn how to cope differently and communicate differently. Like it's a lot of work. You
have to get down in that junk drawer that you never touch and clean that thing out from the very bottom and examine everything that comes out of it and say, why is this in here? Mm-hmm. Do I still need this thing? And tossing most of it away. I mean, you have to be willing to do that kind of stuff. And when someone is, these conversations happen naturally over time.
Exactly.
But if you had to time frame this, once again, like time frame for our type A's, time frame it.
Time frame what? Specifically.
When can you start to have these kinds of conversations?
But I don't know. For us, it was a while. I wouldn't want them to wait as long as we did. I would say within a year.
I think that's pretty fair.
I think a year is fair. Because the first year is really fucking hard. And we've said this a lot. It is really, really hard. And I gave you a lot of time to work on yourself and focus on yourself. And after that, I mean, okay, a year would make sense because whenever our son was born, you were a year sober. And that's when I started asking you to pull your weight. That's when I started communicating with you differently and like, help me here, do this and that, or change your schedule.
Or you started to talk about with the first kid, how I wasn't there and how that made you feel. And so we can really start to have these kinds of conversations now.
Yeah.
But it was about a year. I think you could speed that up. I think that, we could, if you're listening to this, I hope that couples listen to this podcast. I hope that
they do.
People in recovery do. And
Yeah.
if you're a guy listening to this, it's usually a guy. Listen, like you can have these conversations if you're working really hard within 6 months. I think you can start to have these types of conversations within 6 months. And that's working on recovery rigorously every day in some way.
Yeah.
Whether you're reading, whether you're meditating, whether you're going to therapy, counseling, meetings, whatever it might be.
I mean, even 90 days too, though. That's another thing that you can start having conversations with.
I think you can start to tear it off in layers though.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's so complex. Like all of it is so complicated and just, it's hard to really put a time frame on it. But like 90-day rule is a big deal for me.
Yeah. Just don't start shopping for furniture when the house is still on fire.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Next one is one of the things I see posted in the group, this is our community, is friends who have to step away from us because it's too heavy for them. I've seen this a lot in our group. A lot of people have asked their questions like, my best friend is not talking to me anymore because they can't handle my situation with my partner. And this one's really hard. And this one, I have told others that we have to respect their boundaries. It's very important for us to acknowledge the fact that what we're discussing is too heavy for them. And Matt and I have boundaries in our relationships. All relationships can have boundaries on what is discussed and what's not. And just because you can't discuss, your heavy life with them doesn't mean that you have to dispose them as a friend. You can still be friends with them and respect the boundaries of not discussing your personal life. And I know you might think, well, this is my friend. They need to support me. They need to be there for me and talk to me. Talk to your therapist. Talk to the community, talk to people who understand you, who are able to help you navigate it. These friends may not understand what you're going through.
They've never been there.
They've never been there. No, they haven't. And they have to protect themselves. They don't want to see their friend getting hurt over and over again. And then they don't want to, they want to be friends with you, but they don't want to listen to it all the time.
This is how it probably sounds to a friend. It's like saying to them, I've got this thing in my kitchen with these hot circles on top of it, and I walk by it every day and I touch it and it burns me, and I can't stand this stupid thing. It burns me every time I touch it. Mm-hmm. And they're going to say, stop touching that. It's called a stove, by the way. Yeah. Quit touching that. Don't put your finger on it. And you go, okay. And you kind of ignore them. And then the next day you touch the stove and you come back to them and say, this damn thing burned me again. Mm-hmm. They're going to have patience for it, maybe 5 or 6 more times, but eventually they're going to be like, I told you to stop touching the stove. Quit complaining to me that the stove is burning you.
Exactly.
That's what stoves do. They burn.
Right.
Stop touching the stove.
Right.
This is how they interpret a toxic relationship.
Right.
That's how a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. If you've never been there before, you're not going to have the patience and understanding to know how hard it is to give up on someone that's showing the potential, that can be a great person, that you've seen at times be amazing.
Right.
Which is why you need to surround yourself when it comes to these conversations with people that have been there before.
Yes.
This is why, if you're not in a community, please get in our community. It's a place where you can say things like this. You're not going to get, leave. He's an asshole. Go away. Run from him.
Right.
Unless if there's physical abuse, I will not beat around the bush. Get to safety.
Right. Right. But also it's not our job to make them understand either.
No.
That's another thing. Like they don't need to understand where you're coming from. If they're hearing it over and over and over again, they have to protect themselves because it's too difficult for them to witness it, to see their friend hurt and also not taking their advice too. Like Matt and I have had a conversation that was going on and on for a long period of time.
Context. It's about my job.
Yes, it's about his job. And I got to a point where I was like, I can't listen to this anymore because you're not doing anything to change it. And he respected that boundary. So
it hurt.
And it did hurt because you were like, okay, you're my best friend. I should be able to talk to you about this. We did have fights over that. Now that I'm thinking about it, we had little arguments because you're like, I should be able to talk to you about this stuff. And I would say, I can't I can give you advice over and over again and you're not taking it and you're not doing anything about it. I can't see you hurt like this anymore. And I don't want to hear it anymore.
Something else you told me, I don't know if you remember saying this, but you were like, I take this on every time you come home and you're destroyed because I love you and I respect you and I admire you so much that I take that pain on every time you come to me with this. So you're like, I can't do this anymore. It's making me anxious.
Yes.
It's making me lose sleep. Like, it's bothering me throughout the day.
Yeah.
We have ultimately developed a boundary around that.
Yes.
And I respected it and it sucked. But here's what I did is I stopped bringing it up. Yep. And it was tough at times because I don't like, honesty is huge for me. So not talking to you feels like keeping a secret, which feels like dishonesty.
Right.
But I would say something like, today was rough or something and just leave it at that. Not get into the nitty gritty details about everything that happened.
Right.
And then I started to take action to change that.
Yes.
I started to do other things, started to develop something else on the side. I started to develop a plan to get out of that situation. And it opened the door for us to begin to talk about it in a different way. I think it's sort of like, for you, I think it gave you some peace that I can have this conversation now. I'm like, he understands and he's hearing me and he's not just sitting idle doing nothing.
He's doing something about it.
Yeah.
He's trying to solve the problem instead of complaining about the problem. When you continue to complain about it without resolution, all I was doing was condoning that behavior by listening to it. And I would say, okay, I'm validating you. And I did. I validated you for a long time. I was there for you for a long time.
So sweet.
I was there for you. But then it got to a frustrating point where I'm like, you need to do something about this. And we're not going to discuss it anymore. And I think that helped you push yourself because there was a natural consequence to that boundary. You weren't able to talk to your best friend about something so important and dear to you that was harming you, that you were dealing with. You couldn't talk to me anymore. So you're like, okay, well, I think I need to do something to change this so that I can talk to my friend about this. So I can talk to my wife about this and my best friend and my partner and get some advice. And it was like, it was great how that worked out. And now we'll talk about it and it's decent conversations. Now there's still some times that you'll bring something up and I validate you. I'm like, yeah, that sucks. And then I change the subject. And you respect me with that because then I think that you realize, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you realize that, okay, she's just not wanting to discuss this right now. And I understand.
I understand why. I completely understand why. This was a topic all day, every day in our texts and our conversations. I still bring it up, but it's, let's say once a week now, and it might be a couple of messages and that's it. And it's just that, and you'll validate me. And then we'll talk about our plans for the future. Like, what are we going to do to get out of that situation? Here's another thing that I didn't realize in doing this. And I think that wheelies ought to take note. Is that whenever you bring a situation like this to someone, especially your best friend or your closest family member, and you're telling them about someone that's harmed you over and over and over and over, they are going to naturally develop a resentment for that person as well.
Yep.
Over time, it's up to them how they handle that resentment.
Yep.
But you've let them in on enough, they're going to develop a resentment, and that relationship between that person and the person that's hurt you will probably never be the same again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about that. When you bring these types of things up over and over and over and over, you do create an image of someone in their mind that may never wash off. You might be able to forgive them, but they don't have to.
Yeah.
Your friends don't have to. So consider that whenever you're talking about this and how much you're sharing and who you're sharing it with. I'm not saying hide things from people. I'm not saying don't let people in on your lives, but just consider that.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said, like you mentioned it, like, when someone's not listening to you, like generally these people want the best for you. They want to see you happy. They love you. They want to see you happy. And it sucks. But for me anyway, it let me know the gravity of the situation, how serious it was. And it helped drive me to make a change. It did. Like it helped drive me in that direction. I'm like, well, shit, if she's willing to like cut off this part of her, like I don't get access to you in that way anymore. I'm like, shit, like, I got to do something. I have to do something. Like, this is serious. When someone you really trust and admire says enough's enough, let that be a lesson in some ways. That's what it was for me.
Yeah.
It's difficult though. And like,
really hard.
You're going to have to be able to share this stuff with someone. I think it's best to share it with people who've been there before, that have met themselves there, that are kind of going through it as well.
And process it with a therapist.
Yeah. Get some professional help.
Yeah.
That's going to be really helpful too.
Yeah. And like I said, you don't have to throw away the friendship. Now, if your friend is at a point where they're just like done, and that it does suck, but sometimes they might feel like if they continue the relationship, maybe they're condoning behavior that that goes against their values, right? Because they have boundaries based on their values, and we have to respect that. You just have to respect that. And you can be sad about it and you can be upset about it, but respect it in a way. They have to protect themselves too.
Yeah, not everyone has to live with your decisions.
No.
They don't. Mm-mm. So like if you've been in an abusive relationship physically or otherwise, and they've seen what you've gone through, and then you decide like, I'm just going to make this relationship work. I mean, they don't have to be a part of that. No. And you have to respect that.
Right.
It sucks, but you do.
Right.
Like there's no magical answer here that gets everyone happy. It makes everyone gets everyone what they want.
No, except that you can build your relationship based on other things. You don't need to talk to them about your super personal things if they don't want to hear it. Talk to them about other things, like what's going on in other parts of your life, not just the super hard things that you've addressed multiple times that they're not willing to listen to anymore.
We did create an episode for family members.
Yeah, we did. Didn't we? We did. It was for like, if you want to send it to your family member, you can do that.
To help them understand what you're going through.
Right.
And like why it's so difficult.
And how they can kind of discuss it with you or talk about it with you. But I really want you to understand that it's not your job to make sure that they understand where you're coming from.
Right.
You have to respect their boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The last question is, my husband believes he can limit his drinking and has also said he never plans to quit entirely. Is this common? Is it because they really need to suffer natural consequences? At this rate, it feels like he has to have cirrhosis to have a true wake-up call.
So,
yeah, I'll let you talk on that one.
I don't think that the AA is like the Bible. It's like, for some people, it's not like doctrine. It's not like the ultimate word on recovery, but there's a lot of good gems I've picked up in that book.
For sure.
A lot. And one of them talks about it in this chapter. I think it's called More About Alcoholism. And it says that it is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker to one day think that he can drink like normal people. And that is so true. It is a great obsession of people who are alcoholics to think that one day they're going to learn how to moderate their drinking. I've even known people that join programs that claim to do this, the moderation programs. This guy was alcoholic, like a real deal, real McCoy alcoholic. Once he started, he might wake up in a different country. He just blacked out. He was a blackout drinker. And so he joined this program, and it was wildly expensive. It was like several $1,000s per month, and it was intense therapy. It was like hypnosis, and they would use all these cognitive techniques, and they would teach you how to moderate, and they had all these tools to do that. And ultimately, it proved to be ineffective. It just didn't work. Neuroplasticity is a process that we've talked about here and linked. And there's a book called Biology of Desire, Why Addiction is Not a Disease, written by Mark Lewis. That's a really interesting look at the neuroscience of addiction and why it's so hard to break, why it's so incredibly hard to break. Think of it like the Grand Canyon. Okay, the Grand Canyon is the Colorado River carved these deep channels in the soil in Arizona. It's beautiful. If you've never seen Grand Canyon from a different country, like what the hell are they talking about? It's beautiful. It's a huge canyon with a river in it.
I've never been there.
I haven't either. I've seen it in a plane.
We should take the kids.
We should. I haven't even been there before, man. We need to go check it out. But anyway, think of the Grand Canyon as a neural pathway for alcohol, okay? It is very ingrained. It is very familiar. The water flows as it has for thousands of years in this effortless way through this canyon. Now let's decide that we want to start moderating our drinking. So instead of blacking out and acting foolish or drinking too much, we're going to start to learn how to moderate our drinking. Theoretically, it is possible. You can start to create new pathways. We can make a little tributary off the side, but it is going to take a very, very long time to make that thing feel familiar, to make it almost instinctive in some ways. Mm-hmm. And then it doesn't mean that the old canyon is gone completely. It is still accessible. Right. So like, could you do it? Yeah. Have I known anyone? No. I've heard they're out there. I've seen them claim to be on the internet. I don't know what that looks like. For me personally, it was not an option because I tried this on my own more times than I could count.
Right.
And what my experience showed me was that I couldn't drink. I couldn't use drugs. there was a couple times I was able to get it right, and it gave me false confidence, and I took it too far.
Exactly.
That was my pattern. So for me, not drinking is much easier than trying to manage drinking. Like if I have to manage my drinking, that almost seems more miserable than just not drinking.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like I have to think about every one of them. And like, that's just like, to me, that just says everything. Like most people don't think that way. Like you don't think about, oh man, I can't have a fourth or a fifth. Like you don't even think about that. Like you get your fill and you're done. Like at some point I just passed that line in my mind, and I don't know how to go back, and I don't want to, but it is very common for people to say, I don't want to stop drinking entirely. I just want to learn how to moderate. Here's what I tell people when they tell me this: go for it. Do it. Go moderate. Come back to me. Come back to me if you want to learn how to stop drinking. That's what I know how to do. I don't know how to moderate. I'd never claimed to. I don't know how to do that. Could I figure it out? I don't know. Like maybe, but I don't want to try. Like, here's what I do know is that not drinking has given me more in my life than drinking ever did. I've learned more about myself, and our marriage has gotten better. I'm a better father. I'm a better in business. Like I'm better at everything. So why would I try to?
I feel like if you're just limiting drinking, you're not going to be able to get down to the behaviors. Like you're not going to be able to get emotionally, or you're not going to hit that emotional sobriety piece because you're so focused on moderating that you're still not addressing the issues that go along with it.
Yeah, there was someone in the community, actually, I can't remember their name. I wouldn't say it anyway, but someone said that they at one point in their life considered themselves an alcoholic, and they went through a lot of therapy, and they had really healed their wounds, as they put it. And they're able to have a healthy relationship with alcohol again. And I think based on the science, like that's theoretically possible, but I would say that's probably the exception, not the rule. Like I'm sure that there are people who can do that, but most cannot. This I know because I've been around a lot of them. I am one myself, but it's very common. And I think it is a red flag for people, especially if you're dealing with someone who is not emotionally intelligent. Because I think that it really goes back to that piece of it. And like this person even asked the question, when it comes to men or women, I think there could be a difference.
Yeah. I really want to do a lot of research on that.
Man, if I had like an endless like slush fund, I would just fund studies all day long.
I know.
I come up with a new idea for a study every single day.
I know.
I don't know how to execute, but that would be one of them, is the difference in healing when it comes to men versus women. I would suspect that it's easier for women because women are so much more in tune with emotions, which is what men have criticized women for forever. Like it's a bad thing. Like you're just too emotional. Oh, there's a problem with that? Look at you, man. You're a mess. You got to be shitting me right now.
Yeah.
And you're making fun of someone for having emotions. Like I think therapy is more effective in general for women. Like you guys understand these things. Like we're taught, and maybe some of it's biological as well. We're just taught from a very young age, like suppress those things. Don't ignore those things. Don't worry about those things. You just need to be this guy, and they draw you a picture of like what Hollywood says a man is. Just be that.
Yeah.
And they give us these terrible role models of what masculinity is, and like we get so far from our emotions that maybe there is something to that. I don't know, but this person asking this question, is it common? It absolutely is common. Most people don't want to stop drinking entirely because to them that seems boring.
Yeah.
Like when I got sober, I told myself all these lies. Like day one, I was like, because I went in there to stop pills. I didn't go in there to stop drinking.
Yeah.
I wanted to stop taking opiates, quit taking pain pills. And they were like, solid, liquid, or gas, you have basically told us that you treat all substances essentially the same. You don't moderate shit, dude.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be drinking. You don't need to be taking Adderall anymore. And you certainly don't need to be taking pain pills.
Or smoke weed.
And yeah, or smoking weed. And for me, I was like, damn, like that sucks. Like, okay, so vacations are going to suck now. Like I'm going to be bored all the time. I'm going to be one of quote unquote those people, like one of these weirdos you can't drink around. I'm just going to be like numb all the time. Like I felt like that, but it's just, guys, I have had more intimacy, more fun, more joy, more excitement in my life than I ever did before. So that was my experience with it. I know that other people just remove the substance. They don't really address anything else, and they are miserable.
Yeah.
Vacations do suck. Like
right.
Life is bland and black and white.
Yep.
And so to them, the reasonable thing is I'm just going to learn how to moderate it. And so I tell people, okay, well, try that and let me know how that goes and call me when your ass is kicked again. Because this person does allude to something. Do people just have to experience consequences? Yeah, many do. Many people do. Like people that have 2 or 3 DWIs and say that they don't have a drinking problem crack me up to no end.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart, but it also cracks me up.
Right.
Because I'm like, dude, most people get one, and like that's the moment where they stop drinking for the rest of their life.
Right.
Like I'm never drinking again. Like that's serious. That got out of hand. I need to stop. Or we just keep pushing it. We'll just keep pushing the envelope, pushing in the envelope. And like, yeah, some people do have to have some serious consequences, but for a lot of people, it's too late.
Yeah.
Like I knew a guy in early recovery that died at 38 of cirrhosis.
Right.
I mean, the doctors told him more times than I can count, like, you cannot drink ever again. And he was like, I'm different. What, they don't effing know. They're just doctors. What do they know? You know? And he just did it. He just did it. And he's like,
my mind.
Just had a bad day and said, F it. Just got the F-its and drank. And doctors weren't lying. Liver gave out on him and he died. And when he was on his deathbed, he said, I think I'm finally ready to do this thing. And the guy that was there, he was a good friend of mine in recovery. He goes, dude, it's too late.
Yeah.
He was just honest with him.
Sponsor?
Yeah.
He was like a sponsor?
He was a sponsor. Yeah. Rich, God bless his soul, died sober. I think he was 12 years sober when he died. Unrelated to alcohol, had cancer. But yeah, he told him, dude, it's too late. I'm sorry. Nothing you can do now. That's the sad reality for a lot of people. And I would love to dig into more of this like moderation type thing, because I think a lot of people push this, like harm reduction is another one.
Yeah, we've talked about this, how 11 years ago was a little bit different in time than now. And people are extremely overwhelmed, it feels like, and overstimulated. And, you know, their coping mechanisms have changed since whenever you got sober, because we're so in tune like with the world and dealing with things that we're not ready to deal with. Like we shouldn't be listening to news that's happening all over the world. Like we haven't evolved to handle these situations. So a lot of people are trying to moderate so that they can learn. I would learn how, I think that people should learn how to moderate to get off. Kind of how I did with my meds, you know, like I took meds to get off because I had to learn how to cope in order to move forward, and then I wanted to get off of them. That's how I think that moderation should go.
Yeah, but I think you're also assuming someone that hasn't crossed that invisible line of,
I agree with
my
that
neural
too.
pathways are so broken that the only way I know how is to go all or nothing. I'm
Right.
going full bore or not.
That's true.
Like a lot, like at some point I lost, like at some one point I could moderate drinking like everyone else.
Yeah.
I wasn't born an alcoholic.
Right.
You know, this is a learned behavior that I developed over time.
Yeah.
But once I developed it, it was like I couldn't get away from it anymore. It was just too deep and familiar.
Yeah.
It was really weird. But like harm reduction, like I don't have a whole lot of opinions about like how someone decides to get sober. Like if you're a heroin addict and marijuana keeps you off of heroin, I think we can all agree it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit here and tell that person, now you need to get off the marijuana. Listen, they're not on heroin. They're not endangering, you know, their life or the lives of anyone around them anymore.
Unless their behaviors haven't changed.
Now, is marijuana the best thing? I mean, we can.
I'm always going to go back to the behaviors. I don't care about the substances.
Like personally, I believe that you can use just damn near anything to disappear and run and hide from your problems. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Some are stronger than others, but ultimately, I think you have a good point. It's like, are they growing as a person? We can all agree that's a good thing if they moderate with marijuana versus heroin or alcohol or anything else. For me personally, these things were not an option because I have this little thing in my head. I've got a factory in my head. One half of it manufactures bullshit and the other half buys it. I can create lies and rationalize anything to sound like a good idea to myself. Mm-hmm. So if I can I smoked normally without a problem. Well, I can probably drink too. Well, I can probably handle a few pills every once in a while. I can probably handle some Coke. What's the big deal? You know, that's where it goes with me.
That's where it goes, right.
I think
that's how a lot of addict brains are.
I know a lot of people that do that, but I've heard there are people who understand how to, and they figure out how to moderate. Good for them. That's wonderful.
Again,
I just have not seen this play out in my personal life. I've not seen it play out with anyone that I've ever been in contact with in recovery.
Okay.
But they claim they're out there.
Right. But again,
I'd love to talk to
it doesn't
some
matter. I would just want to know what their behaviors are like. I want to know if they've stopped lying. I want to know if they have become truly honest with themselves, if they're actually working on personal development, if they're like changing any abusive behaviors that may have gone on beforehand. Like it's not about the substance.
Yeah, but ultimately, back to the question, people have to have their ass kicked in some way.
Yeah.
And so whether that's your family leaves you, whether that's your job fires you, the doctors give you some terrible news, for a lot of people, that's the wake-up call that ultimately lets them see like, damn, I don't need to be doing this anymore, huh? because we will try everything to drink like normal people or use drugs like quote unquote normal people.
Mm-hmm.
We do. But like you did say something earlier. I saw this hilarious meme. I can't remember who posted it, but it was like, here I am trying to solve a daily existential crisis, take on all the world's sadness and news and drama with the brain that was designed to eat nuts in a cave.
Yeah.
And that's true. Like
It
we
is.
have evolved much faster than our biology.
Right.
Like
I think
as a society and the types of things that we encounter every day. And it is too much for people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not against ever normal people using a substance to disappear. I think that I have just lost the right and the privilege to chemical peace of mind.
I think that's another episode. I think that's something that
We should really dig off in that one.
I have a lot of opinions on that
And
one.
if you listen and you know someone who has successfully moderated in some way, if you know someone who is a big advocate for harm reduction, like I would love to have an open conversation with them, because I am genuinely curious on like the science behind this and how people do it. Like I'm intensely curious about things like this. So I just haven't encountered it yet. I'm not saying it's not possible, but what I know for real McCoy alcoholics is that the work to get there would probably take a lifetime, and you would probably kill yourself in the process. If I had to guess, just guessing. Right. If I had to guess. So yeah, most people have to experience some serious shit before they're willing to just say, you know what, probably just shouldn't be an option for
anymore.
me. It's almost wild too. And let's end with this, because then you have to pee.
I don't have to pee.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay. I thought you were bouncing.
No, I want to eat.
When Paige starts bouncing,
I'm hungry.
I know it's time to go because she's got to pee.
And Winnie Beans is like, "Help, do something."
Yeah, this dog is like,
she's jumping
yo,
on
it's
me.
about an hour now. We should be done with this. I think I forgot the point I was going to make anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
No.
It'll come back to me for next one. We got plenty of these. We do plenty of these.
That was a good conversation.
I think it was solid.
Yeah.
I think it was solid.
I hope that we answer some questions. Okay.
I hope so. Every time we do this, I hope so. And like, I want people to know, like, we're just two people with experience in this space. Like, we're not licensed. Like, this is not medical advice. This is not of any of those things. Like, we're just two people giving a perspective and an opinion, like anyone has, right? We do have experience working through this. A lot of experience. Working through this with not just ourselves, with other people.
Yes.
And we've seen a lot. I've grown up in it. I've been around this my entire life in some way, shape, or form.
And we've been together for 23 years. So
yeah,
we have witnessed a whole lot of
and
things together with this.
Read a lot of books, listen to a lot of stuff about it. And I'm intensely curious about it. So, but I don't want anyone to ever hear this and just be like, this is the only answer. Like, we talked about this in question 1, I think. Trust your gut, trust your intuition. We're not going to be right every time. Don't expect to be. But I hope we can provide you some sort of guidance. And if anything, feel heard. That's what we started this for.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think if anything, it's like, let's just put it out there so people don't feel so alone anymore. If they can help one person, it's worth it.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, I think it's all we got.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No.
Let's go eat. All right. Till next time, I am Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.